In today's video, I want to talk to the audience about something. As of filming this right now, we have finally hit 37,000 subscribers. And I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of you in person, engage over Instagram and in the comment section. And I'm finding we're building this amazing Lexus enthusiast community. So I want you to let me know in the comments or on Instagram what you would like to see from this new Lexus community that we've built on social media, both on Instagram and YouTube. And maybe you'd even get a chance to do some one-on-one calls with me or brainstorm how we can make this even better. I'm gonna be going over questions and answers from the community on both Instagram and YouTube. I'm only gonna get to a handful of questions, but make sure you stick to the end because there's some really good ones in there. I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines. Make sure you hit like and subscribe for more Lexus related content. Okay, so let's get to some of these questions. The first one is, Dustin, will an IS250C ever be revisited? Well, I guess that the question here is confusing because if you mean revisited in terms of like me doing a video, yes, I definitely want to do that. I think the IS250C is such a cool car. It's a hardtop convertible. It's fun to drive. It's super reliable. And I think it's time it deserves a spot on this channel. So maybe I need to find someone with one or a 350C to incorporate. In terms of from Lexus, it's really hard to say. The LC convertible did so well, and that was a soft top. So I don't know if they will introduce an IS convertible. I mean, maybe that's something that could replace the RC that is now being phased out. But I definitely haven't heard of any. Although as I'm saying this, I did hear that on the Toyota side, there's chat of the MR2 coming out. So maybe a Lexus version that could be an ISC, who knows? Dustin, when will the next LS year model come out? Well, I know for sure here in North America, we're gonna get the LS order guide come out in August with an October 1st delivery. I don't think there's gonna be many changes to that. I'm super happy we still have that car because I've been watching what's going on in like Europe and the UK, and it's definitely being phased out because it's such a big car with such a low volume. But for anybody who's ever experienced it, it is super epic. Hi Dustin, I ordered a new 2025 RX Ultra Luxury in copper color. Congratulations, by the way. But now I'm debating if I made the right choice on the color. Do you think 8 to 10 years from now, the resale will be reduced because of the copper color? This is a great question. If you asked a younger Dustin, like when I was in my first year of management, I probably would have been like really nervous to like tell you not to worry because like I didn't want to upset anybody and like I didn't know. But there's a quote from one of our owners that I really like, and it is, there's a butt for every seat. And I know it sounds so silly, but when you think about it, every car that you can make, every spec that Lexus offers, there is someone out there that loves it. In fact, believe it or not, before the copper crest color came to the NX lineup, because it started with the 23 RX, I had a few ladies local here to us that loved the copper crest so much that they bought 2 NXs from us in whatever color, white or black, and then paid to have the whole car painted copper crest. That is a huge financial undertaking to modify the factory paint to be a desirable color that came out like 2 years later. So what that tells me is, especially for the copper color, if someone's willing to pay an extra 10 to 15 grand to have their car painted, it means there's gonna be someone that wants it. So if you want the copper color, I mean, if you're gonna drive it for 8 to 10 years, yeah, just get it. I mean, even if it means you have to discount your car by a couple $100 later down the road, you're gonna enjoy it for 8 to 10 years the way it sits. And I think the copper color is super unique. I think there's a place for it, especially in a world of white and gray cars. The copper crest is something special. Hey Dustin, any word on future plans to Lexus to support auto walk-away locks? If you stop the engine, you can exit and walk away in the car auto locks. This is a great question. I'm surprised I don't get this more often. So all I know is sometimes it seems like Lexus is behind the ball on some things. Like for instance, I remember one time I found out that like BMW and Mercedes and all these guys, you could just roll down your windows from unlock right from the factory, right on that key fob. And when I talked to Lexus about it, I was like, I know you can add that feature later, but why didn't you just do it from the factory? And they said, well, there was this person, they had the key in the pocket, it rolled down the windows in like a torrential downpour and it wrecked the inside. And we don't want to put anybody through that. So all I can think of is maybe Lexus is thinking, well, we don't want anybody to, steal the car if they walk away from it in case, something happens where the door doesn't shut all the way or whatever. So maybe it's just them being a little on the conservative side. However, I do get to give feedback sometimes to Lexus. So if that's something that a lot of you viewers care about, maybe I can see if I can pull some strings. Let me know. When is Lexus going with the 5th gen hybrid and RX? Well, we know RX isn't going to be redesigned next year. It'll probably be a year after that. It'll probably be actually a year or a half a year, if I had to guess, after the NX gets redesigned. So we'll probably see an updated powertrain there for hybrid, but the current one has been super well received. I mean, anybody that thought that they were worried about a 4-cylinder hybrid versus like the old V6 has pretty much been very impressed with the generation that we have. So I can see it's only gonna get better, but even right now it's pretty good. Dustin, if you were ordering a 25 RX 350, which by the way, I'm driving one of those right now, would you order the Premium or Premium Plus? I would do the Premium Plus. I know that's an American spec or package. We have it different here. But when I looked online, the Premium Plus adds a couple nice features that I care about. Like for instance, the wheels on the luxury here is the Premium Plus there, and it adds a whole new look to the car. To give you an example, I used to be an RX 350 F Sport guy. Like anytime I got a demo, it had to be F Sport. If it was luxury, I was bored, all this stuff. But now with that new wheel setup, a blacked out, in my opinion, a blacked out RX with that bigger rim just looks super classy, super baller status. I think it's old money, it's new money, it's everything in between. I really like it, so I would do the Premium Plus for that. It does give you a bigger screen and the ambient lighting, which I think is cool too. So yeah, I would just pay that extra money, get the Premium Plus. I think you won't regret it. Unless you're gonna change the wheels anyway. If you're gonna do some aftermarket wheels, like some Vossens or something, maybe save the money for those, but anyway, your call. I think it's worth it. Oh, a tariff question. I haven't had one of these in a while. If I put a deposit before the announcement a week ago in South Florida for a GX and it's gonna arrive in 60 to 90 days, is my out-the-door price set? Great question, touchy subject, I get it. Every manufacturer's doing this differently right now. Lexus hasn't really changed much. I mean, even with that T word being thrown around in the media and a lot of brands sort of acting differently about it, right now, I wouldn't stress too much about it. I had a guest of mine order, really nice people. They ordered an ES from us, and that car is made in the US. They were getting delivery in Canada, and they were losing sleep over, oh my gosh, what if that T word kicks in? And I just said, why worry about something that might not even happen, right? And I find that's just great advice all around. I'm not a motivational speaker, but most of the things we worry about don't happen. And I mean, just kind of tackle that if it does pop up, but I think you're gonna be okay. Hi Dustin, I saw in a video you say that RX Hybrid can take regular gas. Do you think there's any long-term damages that could happen if you only run regular gas? So I'm not an engineer, but I do talk to a lot of technicians and sometimes engineers. Some of my favorite Lexus guests are engineers. And it all depends on the engine. On the RX Hybrid, I think you're gonna be okay. I always say think because I don't wanna have anybody really mad at me. But I know with other engines, so like when we had, the GS 350, the way that injection system worked is that if you did just use regular gas, sometimes over time there'd be some carbon buildup in, that top end of the engine. But with this new engine design and with multi-port and, all of those things, it's less about that and more about, the ratings or the advertised fuel economy or horsepower was used doing premium gas. And the engine itself sort of changes its, way of calculating that based on what you put in it. So I think you're gonna be okay. However, I did get a curveball the other day. I don't know if it was just a misbuild or if this is gonna be happening now, but I used to always say, just check the gas cap and whatever that says. If it says premium, use premium. If it doesn't say premium, just use regular. And I had an RX 350H the other day say premium only. So I would use premium if this is premium only. Tough to say. I think regardless, you're gonna be okay though. Oh, I love this one. Okay, Justin, what is it really like to work for Lexus? I'm looking at getting into car sales. Oh my gosh, I could have done a whole video just on this one. So what is it like to work for Lexus? Well, I would say, for me, it's easy because I'm a passionate Lexus enthusiast and also a passionate Toyota enthusiast. So those are the two brands that I chose to work for because I felt like I could speak to them honestly. I have a lot of different salespeople that work here and they all come from a lot of different brands. Everything from Hyundai to Audi to Mercedes, Toyota, even Ford. And it's been interesting learning about all these different brands and what it's like to work for them versus Lexus. And I'll say this, it's really nice being able to stand behind a vehicle on its reliability, but also be able to prepare your own portfolio full of guests for future business. And what I mean by that is Lexus is one of the best resale values and best smart purchase. I go like this because no one needs a car, but if you're gonna buy a car, it's a really good financial decision because of it is very reliable, they last for a long time, and because of that, it holds good value. So if those are things that are important to you, It's a great brand to work for because of, you can really stand behind that as you're doing your selling. But it is a luxury brand. As I mentioned, a lot of the salespeople that work here started in some volume brands to get their feet wet. And I've had a lot of friends of mine and people I know get right into luxury sales without doing the time with volume and find that it's kind of an uphill battle. So if I was you and you're getting into car sales for the first time, I would first of all think of what brand values matter to you. If you're into super high sports cars, going to somewhere like BMW or Audi might be a better fit. But regardless, I would say going to a volume brand like Toyota, Hyundai, Honda is a good one, is a really good way for you to find your own mojo and find your own sort of rhythm with what you like about car sales and get those wins under your belt. Because some days are tough, I'm not gonna lie. When you're on commission sales and you haven't sold anything in a week or two, it feels like the whole world is against you. But if you can prove to yourself a little bit of volume, get those wins under your belt, find your strengths, your weaknesses, because usually those dealerships are a little bit busier too. So you might be able to talk to like 4 or 5 people that week, but if you jump into a luxury brand, you might talk to one person this week and it's a CEO of a big bank and like they're intimidating and like they're negotiating with you and you kind of want to have a little bit of a backing behind it as well. And then it's nice to work your way up to luxury because, I remember hearing this online one time about like, it's kind of fun to enjoy the process. And it was a gentleman talking about like his first sports car was like a Ford Mustang and he was happy got his Ford Mustang before his McLaren because then he can enjoy each step of the way. And I find that the same with career trajectories. If you are serious about getting into car sales, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to hop on a call with you and give you some advice and pass on a little bit of my knowledge. Even if you're never gonna work for me, I just love what I do and I'd be happy to share that, okay? All right, Dustin, what does Lexus have going for it mostly right now? Well, when you think about it, 2025 and going into 2026, we don't have a ton of changes. I mean, we have the new ES coming next year, but for this year, it was a lot of the same stuff, mind, I guess, the LX hybrid, but it's working. Because right now, Lexus, in Canada at least, is really climbing the charts with some record-breaking months and some overall really big market share. And when I slow down to think about it, a couple things are coming to mind. One is we have a vehicle lineup that is offering really good options for both turbocharged, or I guess people are calling them ICE engines now for internal combustion engine, and alternatively, a lot of really good hybrid options, both at good price points, but also ways to spec out to like fully loaded. And I'm seeing on both sides of that spectrum, sales are up, like a lot of base models and lower packages are being sold, but also a lot of top-end vehicles are being sold too. So that shows me a good economy for the car buying. So we have, when you combine that, we have good options across the board. We have fuel-efficient hybrid options going on right now, as well as, some good lease rates, some really good trade values, and things like that. So I would say, even though, I'm not standing here announcing a brand new, RX yet, or, a new V8 for like the NX or anything, super exciting and headlines like that. The brand itself has so much going for it and so much more on the horizon that it's kind of fun to just be kind of coasting through this year and having a lot of buyers like probably yourself watching this video because there's a lot going for it. So I would say that what we're offering right now is really cool. And also, I just did an RC video. And when you look at that, it's like some cool old school tech in that car. So you can still walk in and buy a car with a clock in the middle and a CD player and, not super digital everything. So it's kind of a really fun place to be at right now that I think I'm gonna miss. There's gonna be some cool stuff coming out in the future. I think I'm gonna miss these times as well, where it's like that saying, or it's like, I wish I knew I was in the good old times when I was in them. That's what I feel like Lexus is like right now. So I hope that answered your question. And that's it for this week, everybody. So thank you for putting those in the comments. If you have any questions that you think of while watching this video, please let me know in those same comments or message me on Instagram, which is @DustinMason. I always try to respond to those as much as I possibly can while I still can. And again, a big shout out to you guys, the audience, for making this channel happen the way you did.